So let's let that act as a segue. I too got Killer Clowns, right? I'm going to review it, guys. I got both versions here. I know I'm sick, but you know what? I love this cover better. But
I
I
do
had
too.
I had to have the steel book for some reason. I'm going to leave this one wrapped. If it goes out of print and it's worth anything, like dude, the Arrow one is out of print, and I have that, and I
Oh,
could
you
sell.
do?
Oh yeah, I could sell that for a mint right now, but I don't want to. But anyway, I might do that with this since it's literally identical to this, and you're gonna find out from my review here in a second why I think it's worth holding on to the Arrow one and this one. So let's go ahead and talk about it. So, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, 1988. Funny enough, also 1988 is The Blob, right? It's a good year for
Mhm.
schlock horror movies. Um, this movie's great. It's like 85 minutes wet max, something like that. Or how long is this movie? It's always like blown me away how short it is. 82 minutes. 80. It's it's like animated feature length. But this is by far not by far. I think it's comparable to the Arrow 2K transfer.
86.
86
Eight,
minutes. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's comparable to the last Arrow transfer because the Arrow Blu-ray was a 4K transfer or whatever. So this got a DVD release back in the day, and then MGM put out a ghetto Blu-ray as well. The DVD had pretty much all the special features that you're going to see repeating on every release. All the featurettes and blah blah blah, they came from the DVD. Those got ported to the MGM release, and then Arrow put out a Blu-ray originally, I think in 2014,
Yeah,
and
I
then
think around
and then
then.
they put out another one a few years later, which it wasn't just a repress, a
The
reprinting.
standard.
No, it was better.
Oh,
So
okay.
it was the scan, the new 2K scan or whatever, the 4K scan or whatever, the one that I have. They put it out like maybe 2018. That one's better because it looks night and day. So pretty much they would get a little bit better until you got to that Arrow release that I have, the one that came out I think 2018. I might be off a little bit on that, and I'd say they look pretty close, but this one definitely looks better. This one is the best transfer. With that said, where it's lacking, guys, is the special features. There is no new special features on this. There are special features on this, and they're good, but you've seen them before. All of these special features are present on the last Arrow release,
Gotcha.
which even
Is
with
that
the
a
Arrow,
UK release or is that a
the,
US release?
the Arrow had a US.
Oh,
Yeah,
US. Okay.
yeah. So now the Arrow release, like I said, included every special feature that had been released since the DVD, and then they had their own special features on top of it that they didn't include on this. So it's got a lot of the good stuff on here. I mean, you've got obviously the 4K restoration, the audio commentary with the Chiodo brothers. Sorry, it's Kyoto. I grew up always calling them the Chiodo, but if you watch these special features, they introduce themselves as Kyoto, and that just sounds so weird to me. So I might still accidentally call them the Chiodo brothers. But anyway, that stuff comes from the DVD. It's all old, standard definition stuff. You got the making of Killer Clowns that's been around. It's great. You got the composing Killer Clowns, which is cool. It's the guy who did the music talking about it. Really fascinating if you like that kind of aspect. That's old stuff, right? Creating Killer Clowns, talking about the visuals, and then we talk about the visual effects even further with Gene Warren, which is great because they go into how they did like the perspective shots. You know, how you have like the giant clown, right?
Yeah.
Like the at the end, the king clown. It was just like a puppet, and they used perspective, like putting him in front of the camera and having certain lenses to make him look tiny below it. Really cool stuff, actually. They did with the flick, and he kind of they'll go into talking about how they pulled off the shadow puppets and how the shadow puppets ate the people, and it's cool. They go on talking about well, all that stuff was stop motion. You can kind of tell from the shadows, and it's really really neat. But again, this is all stuff that was on prior releases. And you got deleted scenes. That's the same bloopers and earliest films of the Kyoto brothers and Easter eggs. This is all the stuff that's on the Arrow version, minus a few things that the Arrow version had special that didn't come over to this. And I want to say Arrow had secured the rights to even more I can't remember it, to be honest with you, that they weren't actually able to get on their last release because of timing or something. And I guess they don't have the rights anymore. So I don't know what happened to some of that stuff that they had. But yeah, so I don't know. I think if you don't have the Arrow version, it's great. There's a lot of cool stuff on here. If you don't have any old versions and this is your only copy, a lot of good special features. It's just none of it's new. It's all old. Which
Yeah,
is
I
kind
didn't have the Arrow one, so I'm excited to check it out.
but most of this shit is from like the MGM $5 Blu-ray you could get, the DVD back in the day. If you don't have any of that, there's a lot of cool behind the scenes stuff. It's just I do expect a little bit more out of Shout Factory. Because that's
Oh,
why they were so cool putting out whenever they had their special editions or whatever. They always had something new, whether it was a new commentary track or some featurette with the act, something new interviews, and it's just kind of a bummer. And yeah, I think this is just like Todd said, probably the way it's just going to keep going. They're just going to kind of rehash what's available, and for some reason they couldn't get every feature that the Arrow had, so they obviously didn't have rights to everything. I don't know what happened there. So the Arrow copy technically beats this on features because it's got all of this and more. The packaging's great on the Arrow, but this is technically the better transfer. But I don't think you'd really. I think you have to A and B it to really know the difference. If you have the Arrow from 2018, you're sitting good. I don't think there's really any reason to upgrade. But this is also Dolby though, so they're doing good. Shout Factory is doing good there. Which I didn't watch it in Dolby because I don't have a player that supports Dolby. My LG C3 does Dolby, but not my player. So
you should have got that player I told you about.
no, it's a waste of money right now. But I will say this though, I hate it though because I will, for example, if I get movies like this, right? I want to
Mhm.
watch the disc, but I can't because I don't. But I will, but the disc doesn't support Dolby because my player doesn't support Dolby. So it actually treats me a little bit better in this case to watch the digital code because that will be Dolby on my
Oh,
TV. I'm just saying. That's dude. I'm just saying
the
the digit.
refresh rate on that's probably shit.
I don't know. I'm just saying the digital codes because they're supported by my TV will allow me to watch Dolby, and anything on Netflix will be Dolby. So I think it's the only instance where the disc is actually maybe robbing me of a little bit, but that'll be remedy once I get a player eventually. But
No, I'm excited to watch it. Like I said, I didn't have the old Killer Clowns, and I am excited to check this out. And the thing about Shout Factory is, like you were saying, their special features might be lacking on these 4Ks, but the 4Ks look immaculate. If you don't have them already, get them. I mean, their transfers look great, dude.
yeah, so the transfers look fantastic, and I was going to say as well, what was I going to say?
I'm not upgrading everything either. Like few and far between. I upgrade things here and there, but yeah, their transfers are great.
It looks really good. I will say that yeah, it's the best it's ever looked. I've been watching a lot of stuff on my new monitor here, kind of taking it in, and I've been watching a lot of stuff. It feels like for the first time again, right? And it's great. Like these movies I've watched before, I'll rewatch them on this awesome OLED. I'm like, oh man, it's like fresh eyes. The movie that's impressed me the most so far, and it came out. These are movies that are around the same time period, give or take. The
Hmm.
Child's Play movies, dude. Ah, so not to take it away from Killer Clowns, this is the best Killer Clowns has ever looked.
Yeah,
Absolutely. But dude, I literally just got done watching Child's Play 1 through 3, and those 4Ks on an OLED. I can imagine with Dolby. I didn't even have Dolby on. They look so fucking good. Blows me
I
away.
still I have
Blows
them.
me
I
away.
haven't opened them because I'm still waiting. I'm like, should I wait until I get the OLED? Like maybe 6 to year down the road
It's up to you.
before
Or
I
you
do
just
that.
rewatch. Why you'll never watch them again? Is what you're saying? You're saying you can only watch them once. You'll be good. No, I
No,
mean,
no, no. You know what I'm saying though. Like I want to see them in pristine form.
yeah,
I do.
but this is the best the movie's ever looked. I love the clowns, dude. I love the way they look. Everything about this film is so charming. Watch the special features. If you've never seen them, if you
I didn't
have
see the
the
special
if
features.
if you
No.
have the Arrow, I'd say hold on to it. You're good, to be honest with you, because it
Yeah.
looks great. It's not that big of a leap if you don't want to spend the money. But if you don't have it, watch these features, man. I love seeing how the sausage is made. The Kyoto brothers are brilliant with their puppetry and their costumes and stuff like that. It's wild to see the behind the footage scenes of these guys in the clown suits and just how they did everything. It's fantastic, and I have a soft spot for this flick, man. I've
I
always
love
loved
that
this movie.
original cover too, man. The original cover's great.
There's so many covers to this damn thing. Like there's the MGM Blu-ray and
Yeah,
DVD
yeah,
that was I think is ugly. I never liked
yeah,
it. Where it's just like the people looking up and there's
yeah.
the main clown head in the sky. It makes no sense. Like wait, so the clown's the spaceship? It doesn't make any sense. This is the best cover.
I always thought it
I
was cool. Yeah, that.
iconic twirling the globe like a Harlem Globetrotter in a basketball. But I
Mhm.
also I mean this one's okay. I there's something about it that I don't like too. It's just kind of
The
whatever.
colors pop. It's cool. Like
It's
that
it's
sort of thing's cool, but like,
it's the colors. I think the image itself is kind of boring though.
yeah, yeah,
Um, I like the Arrow release. The Arrow release looks cool too. But this is tops, man. Like this is like a movie poster. This is what you saw at the marquee, and this is what.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, this is what would make me want to see the flick. Actually, it's like, oh man, what's going on?
yeah.
Not a single globe was spun though in the movie. Just beware. But yeah, Killer Clowns. So yeah, it's great. Had a great time with it. I think it's a great thing to introduce to your kids if you want to kind of ease them into horror movies. It's fantastic. It's cute. It's funny. It's just bizarre and silly. Oh, by the way, I will say my earliest memories are watching that movie. It's probably my earliest horror movie memory, and it came out when I was 2, so I was probably like 3 or 4. And there's one scene in this flick. I remember all these scenes, dude, like so well. They're burned in my brain. I remember the first time being a little kid watching the old farmer and his dog. Where's my Pooh Bear? And you know, he grabs
Mhm.
the wires and he's like, he first of all he's stupid. He punches the tent. You took my dog, and he just decides to punch what he thinks is a circus tent. Oh, like why? Even if he thought it was a tent, why would you punch the tent? It's so dumb. And he grabs the wires. He's like, oh, the place is wired. But there's one scene in this movie that used to actually creep me out as a kid, and it's the scene where there's the family in the burger stand, like the burger joint,
Yeah.
and the fat clown is standing outside getting the attention of a little girl. And her family's not watching. She's at like the table and she looks at him and he's outside the glass, doing like peekaboo, doing all that stuff. And he starts telling her, come here, just doing the finger. And she's just getting up. Mom and dad aren't even paying attention. They're talking while the girl's getting up, going towards her. And it pans around and you see that he's got a giant comical clown mallet behind him. He's going to murder this girl. And and she gets out the door and then the mom saves her, which is funny because when you watch the scene, literally she's out the door and she's 2 feet in front of this clown and the mom just grabs her like, don't run off like that, and she doesn't acknowledge this fucking creepy ass 6 foot clown right in front of her. It's so bizarre, but that scene creeps me out, uh especially when they like cut to his face after she takes away the clown makes like a face like, ah, it's really cool.